What is up, party people? Today I'm going to talk about cold email for cold email for agencies. I have to make this course for Local Rank Academy anyways. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk through the outline of the course that I created based off of a ton of notes I've written in the past. And I fed it into ChatGPT, if I'm going to be honest. And I'm just going to walk through each step and giving you guys as much free value as possible. But if that still isn't enough for you guys, I'm going to just ask you guys to go find Local Rank Academy. First link in the comment section, go join. All right. Price going up we currently have 104 members. Price is going up at 125. It'll go to $69 per month. Nice. Anyways, for the next couple minutes, let me eat some creatine, plus report my numbers from the day before. If you guys aren't into that, simply skip on ahead using that YouTube progress bar. Hope you guys are all doing well. Your boy, side note, your boy, I was supposed to be fasting yesterday, and then I had some protein cereal. Felt kind of bad about myself. And then I ate some protein chips, popcorn. I was like, ain't no way. I gotta go hit cardio. So I went to the local park and just crushed some people at basketball. Well, I didn't crush. We lost 3-1, but my team was absolute trash. Anyways, here we go. Oh, having dinner with my business partner who was in town, far and away for the OG listeners, my e-com site. Yeah. Anyways, yesterday we did $780 in total revenue, down $90 from the day before. We have Amazon coming in at 136, Mediavine at 121, and the adult revenue source that we don't talk about at 523. Let's get on with the episode. All right. If you sign up for the first link in the YouTube description, you get sent the URL to this sheet. Today's July 23rd, episode 592. Okay. Yeah, you're going to have to sign up today. First link in the YouTube description. I don't want to hear, Jackie, how do I get the Notion document? All right, guys, get it going. All right. It's a full doc today. I don't think I can beat around the bush, but the reason I did this is because a recent shouts to Jim Jones, which is obviously an alias. He asked for more info on cold email, so I wanted to do one. I wanted to add it to the Local Rank classroom here. I think I'll probably just add it maybe as a separate one. Cold email masterclass. Yeah, why not? Anyways, let's just get on with it. Intro to cold email. What is cold emailing? TLDR is you just send, it's like non-transactional emails, meaning you can't use stuff like ConvertKit, Beehive, etc., to send these cold emails. I think it's against their TOS or something like that. So what cold email is, and cold email software is typically it just goes through a Gmail account. It uses their API to send out cold emails. And yeah, you won't hit spam because you have certain things in place. You have spin tags, so on and so forth. Yeah. Why it works very well for agencies is you're able to scale very quickly in terms of outreach versus cold calling, walk-ins, etc. For example, I've been sending 1K emails per day for the last month or so. Was it effective? I wouldn't say it was necessarily effective. Let me just tell you my reply rate over the last month. It was low. It was 1%, but 1% of 1,000 is still 10 responses a day. You know what I mean? So I think we take those. Anyways, compliance to deliverability, GDPR, can spam. Not relevant. I think cold email is fine. You're allowed to cold email people. I think it's just if they tell you to stop, you just have to stop. Don't quote me on that. All right. If you use this in like the court, do your own research, yada, yada, yada. All right. That's the intro for cold email. Now, building your target list. I think one thing we skip over is defining like our ideal customer, and you have to paint it out, right? That's something we kind of had struggled with for local rank as well. Like, do we want to target all local businesses, or do we want to focus on local SEO agencies? You know, and as you guys can probably see, because we're making so much content about agencies, we identified it as agencies. So you need to determine what kind of target audience you have. So, and as I always say, start off niche and then go broad. For example, start off as a roofing marketing agency and then go broad from there. You could be a home services, you know? Does that make sense? Now, building your list. This is probably the most important part. Well, that and copy. I think your lead list is very important. If you are trying to target like SaaS companies, Fortune 500 companies, you're probably going to have to use Apollo and other scraping techniques. Pretty much Apollo plus, I think you can just use Apollo. And before you pay for the Apollo subscription, what you can do is you can actually find someone on Fiverr and ask them to scrape Apollo for you. All right. And it's very, 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 very cheap. You can scrape like 500K. You can scrape 100 B2B leads or rows from Apollo for just $300. It's crazy out here. It's crazy. All right. So don't pay for the Apollo subscription. I think you can scrape it on Appify as well. Let me double check though, real quick, Styles. Apollo. Yeah, you can. So like, honestly, just download, just use Appify. Probably cheaper. TBH. All right. Now back to the lead list. If you target local service businesses, okay, like local businesses that where you have to scrape GMBs, I recommend going to local rank. All right. So local rank, you can just go here and then type in your city, for example, I don't know, Vancouver, BC. Or if you want to target a whole country, I would just go like Canada, you know? And then the industry you want, like for example, if I want to target accounting firms, I just go like bada bing, bada boom, and then lead quantity. Okay. And we automatically, you only pay for emails scraped. That's the beauty of this. All other tools, they charge you even if they don't find emails. Are you joking? I think we actually lose money on local leads. So get it popping. All right. I think right now the usage hasn't been high. I think if it continues that way, we might cut this as a function and then just spin it out into its own business. I think that might have legs. Lead packs. This is just a quick side note. If you don't know what niches to target, just go into local lead packs. All right, and you can just become an agency for these guys. Roofing, concrete, electrician marketing, landscaping marketing, pest control marketing, stuff like that. And if you do that, all you have to do is purchase one of the lead packs and you get all the leads. We scrape US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand for this niche. Crazy out here. All right, get it going. But yeah, let's go back to the course. After you scrape, the most important thing that no one talks about is verifying your email. I personally use Vermail because I have a lifetime subscription. But if you want something similar, I think you should just find something on AppSumo, okay? So what I would do is I would just go on to AppSumo, search verify email, and then just find the cheapest one possible. Okay. So lifetime credits per day, 500 is kind of savage. Maybe do like 1,000 at least. And then you just bada bing, bada boom. All right. And you get 220K bonus credits. It's decent. It's decent. All right. They all operate about the same, so I wouldn't go. Yeah. Okay. Now, before we keep going, have I talked about email software? I personally use Instantly, but as mentioned before, you can just use anything on AppSumo. Okay, anything. Let me find an example. I will just search cold email on AppSumo and find whatever is available. This one, I guess, Blastable. God, that's a crazy name. I don't think that's an example. Oh, this one is. So this would be something like Instantly. How many emails can you send per month? 5,000 users uploaded. Pretty trash, actually. You could find something better. Let me see what's lemless. Here we go. Let's see if they have anything here. It's got nothing right now, but yeah, always give AppSumo a look. I'm a huge fan of lifetime subs. So yeah, check it out. Now that you have your software ready and now that you have your verify, let's talk about Deliverability Essentials. First up, most of these tools will have an email warm-up sequence, meaning you like load it up into your software and then it'll start warming up your email. Meaning what it does is it just automates emails back and forth to emails within its network, and then it'll like auto respond to it, so it'll have higher deliverability. This is great. You definitely need to warm up for like about 2 weeks before you get started. So make sure you do that. Otherwise, you're going to get your cheeks slapped. Side note. All right. Side note. Before you start emailing with like your main domain, like for example, if my business is indexy.com, go register like 4 or 5 domains. Maybe one domain first. That's instead of sending from indexy.com, you send from getindexy.com. Stuff like that. All right. And now let's talk about technical setup. Make sure your SPF, DKIM, DMARC is set up. All right. What does that mean? Just ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT how to set it up. The cold email software will help you set it up as well. TLDR, SPF is like who is allowed to send. DKIM is proof the email hasn't been spoofed, meaning other software can pretend to be you and like send emails. So you definitely need DKIM to be set up. Otherwise, your domain will get burned. DMARC is like, I think, instructions if your stuff is clapped. Anyways, avoiding spam triggers. There's ways to do it. Stuff like avoiding spam words, using spin tags. If you don't know what anything is, pause and like go ask ChatGPT. What else is there? And not sending too aggressively. Okay, meaning each email account, for example, Jackie@getindexy.com, an account like that after being warmed up for 2 weeks cannot send more than 30 emails a day. Just absolute cap. All right. Maybe even do like 27 emails per day, stuff like that. All right. Inbox rotation, I don't know what that is. Sending limits I just talked about. Now, let's talk about crafting the perfect cold email. In terms of subject line, if you can't think of anything, all right, the default industry gold standard is quick question. Quick question name. Quick question company name. Quick question for company name. If I'm targeting plumbers, plumber question first name. Plumber question company name. All right. Try to have customizations in there. All those gets you higher clicks. However, question sparks interest. So that's why CTR is always higher there. Side note for deliverability, which I forgot earlier, is never track open rates. Okay, just don't do it. Why? Because it actually messes up your deliverability. You don't need to know. You just need to know your reply rate. That's the most important part. Okay, so how many emails am I sending right now? Oh, only 600. Pretty pathetic. We were sending 1,500 at one point. Look at that. Juicy J. Reply rate 8.9%. Opportunities generated. This is fake. It's just for the screenshot. But yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah. Subject line. I've tested a lot of them. Best ones are question, quick question. Just maybe ask ChatGPT to create it. I think ChatGPT does a good job of creating emails, creating spin tags for you. Just make sure you have to tweak it a bit. All right. It's not the end all be all. Now, personalizations versus automation. There's a lot of things you can do with personalization. All right. I'm not going to go too deep into it because we're going to be here all day. But one way to do personalization is after you export from, let's say, local leads, right? From local rank, what I can do is I can have the city as a personalization. All right. And then you use ChatGPT or Cursor to create a personalization there. All right. So for example, Cursor, you prompt Cursor, help me generate a quick line about a quick joke, that insider joke about this city, stuff like that. All right. Make a reference to this city, and then we'll go in and like smash that, you know? Hope that makes sense. But yeah, writing emails that feel human, turn a human plug, no plug here, spin tags and variations. So yeah, definitely spin tags your emails. What does that mean? Let me show you guys exactly what that means. Spin tags looks like this. All right. So meaning every email will be slightly different and there'll be infinite amount of variations. All right. So one thing to note is if you're not using getindexy.com and you're buying from someone like instantly for your emails, like pre-warmed emails, because it's just easy to set up. I'm just lazy. I don't see a huge drop in terms of email open rates, response rates. One thing to note is I like to have an unlinked URL here. It actually helps a ton. Having, like, for example, if my company is Easy Plumbing, easy.plumbing, just this actually generates, I think, 10% click-through rate from deliver. Example, all right? So if I'm sending 500 emails per day on an Easy Plumbing campaign, you can assume that you'll get about 50 users or 50 unique visitors a day on Easy Plumbing. It's just that crazy. People are curious and they do look at Easy Plumbing. So what that means is you're going to get a lot of free traffic, very targeted traffic, but you have to convert them there. All right. Now, moving on. Spin tax variation, plugging local rank as a case study. Sure. How do we do on local rank? Let me say. Boom. How did my... All right, here's local ranks sequence. All right, 9% response rate. Never seen anything like it. And this is not faked. All right, this is not fake. Let's see what the best one was. This one's for company name. Who would have thunk? Quick question. Who would have thunk? Not potential deal. I've tested it. All right. No way I give you guys the sauce like that. Okay. Preview. Look how short this is. And you're saying, Jackie, is it? Oh, but you're baiting them with a response. Guys, it's better than 1% response rate. All right. Quick question. Is your company still handling local SEO? All right. A couple ways to get more responses is your company still taking more leads? All right. I've done a couple episodes on just like cold email copywriting, but I won't go into that today. Okay. Yeah. Here are some frameworks. For example, problem, agitate, solution. These are just frameworks on how to generate great cold email copy. 3-sentence outreach formula. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this. I try not to go over 3 sentences ever. Real world cold email examples I just showed you. Follow-up strategy. I personally, all right, always have at least 2 follow-ups after the initial email. And the follow-ups can just be like this. Are you the best person? Can you point me to the best person to speak about this? Just single line, all right? And I like to follow up one day after another. I'm aggressive. I don't care. If they don't want it, I don't mind. All right? I've seen people follow up 5 to 7 times. You do burn a lot of emails like that, but you might get some sales in there. Okay, I appreciate that. In terms of timing, frequency, and best performing templates, I don't know, personally. I don't A/B test that. I've just been spamming that first email. I'm kind of hoping it works. But you can all generate this with ChatGPT nowadays. It's great. Now, let's talk about scaling. Holy cow, this is a lot. Let's talk about scaling. Multiple domains, inboxes, I've talked about that. Warm them up. Okay? 2 weeks, max 30 cents per day per email. So if you want to reach like 10,000 emails, you have to do quick maths on that. 10,000 divided by 30 cents per day. Okay? Divided by probably 3 emails per domain. And then divide by 30 days. So if I want to reach all of them if I want to reach 10K, if I want to reach 10K emails in 30 days, I'd have to, 30 business days, by the way, I'd have to have 4 domains. That's it. 4 domains with 3 emails per domain. So 12 email boxes in total to reach all of them. All right. So you just do stuff like that. Sending at scale without losing quality. Kind of talked about that. Outreach software, instantly versus alternatives. They're all about the same. They're really about. I just use instantly because I have a lifetime deal with them, and I just buy their like mailboxes. All right. Now let's talk about analytics and how often you have to go into tweak. So in terms of open rates, don't track. Click rate, don't track. Reply rate, anywhere from 1. Okay, if you're below 1%, you're kind of clapped. 10% is kind of crazy. You're baiting at that point. Anything in between is fine. Positive response rate has to be relatively high. Yeah. Constantly A/B testing subject line is very important. Body copy, also important. These are more relevant as you scale up. So if you're sending like 10 emails per day, probably not a big deal. You can go with the standard quick question and then easy spin tax. Now, how to identify and cut underperforming campaigns. I think you guys have to understand what statistical significance means. And if you don't know what that means, just literally take a screenshot of the analytics. For example, I don't want to show my. Okay, so literally take a screenshot here, paste it into ChatGPT. You know what? I'll show you. Which emails are statistically significantly better than the others? All right. I know that math kind of is not working out, but statistical significance is something you guys have to understand. And then you typically, it has to be 90% significant to be better, or 95. It really depends on your threshold of variability. But yeah, if you don't know what that means, just ask ChatGPT. Okay. Now on to, God, how long? 22 minutes. Fine. Advanced tactics, multi-channel outreach. Okay. While we're running this. Okay. So A is better than C and D. B is significantly better than C and D. So meaning I can turn off C and D, easy clap. All right. Now, anyways, back to multi-channel outreach. Okay. This is pretty crazy. I like this. Is There are what is it called? There are tools out there that after you have an email, you can find their LinkedIn, X, and so on and so forth. So what if there's someone you really want to reach and it's automated, like you have a small list of like 100, you can I don't know what that word is, but pretty much find their X, find their LinkedIn, and then automate outreach there as well. It's crazy. Okay. Using video and Loom in cold emails, you could totally do that. Some people, what they do is they send a naked Loom link that doesn't work, and then to trigger a response saying, "Hey, I recorded this Loom. Click here and see what happens." You can also use AI to create Looms that are standardized for them. So what I can do is actually create a standardized Loom or a standardized way of creating videos using AI that will be relevant for them. So, for example, if I want to reach 1,000 local businesses, I said cold email saying, "Hey, can I send you a video of like how your business can be fixed?" And I just record a template where I just go in and say, "You need to work on getting more local reviews. You need to add local schema and stuff that would be relevant to just about anyone." And then you just use AI to superimpose that their business in the back. All right. So when they click in, then it generates, if that makes sense. Now, dealing with catch-all domains and hard bounces, this happens all the time. Okay. What does that mean? Meaning, even if you clean emails, they start getting clapped as soon as like a week after. So cleaning emails means you run it through like Veramail or like the email verifier I mentioned earlier. Even if you verify it multiple times across different tools, you can still get clapped. Okay. Now, last but not least, today is a cold email SOP, not a closing SOP. But after they respond, typically you want to push them to a closer or like a Calendly link so they can, hop on a call. That's when you close them. And setting up sales pipeline, outsourcing teams for scaling. Yeah, you can do all that. That's it for now, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I try to provide as much value as possible without, if you guys want way more details in terms of a course and not just an outline, you're going to have to sign up for a local rank academy. All right. I'll be trying to bust this one out in the next couple of days. Let me answer some questions from the day before. Ooh, 2 scoops. I didn't have 2 scoops. What's the difference between CTR and browser blast? Huge difference. CTR is not browser blast. Browser blast is just imitating virality. CTR searches and then clicks. 2 scoops. Q. How do you go about Parasite SEO for Amazon affiliate? You need to do a 2-stepper most of the time. Use 7-day impressions, but should have been 30 days. No, I use 7 days. Oh yeah, I think my math wasn't mathing for 7 days. You're probably right. Anyways, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. It's been going on for 2 weeks. Browse by weekly. Forgot. Okay, hold on. Let me ask the question. Target lost its ranking in Google. It was page 2, said problem. Then second project started 18 hours ago. Then the second project, another URL this time, 7th place on page 1. Started. Okay, yeah, keep me posted. Admin said that if that's the case, I'm pretty hands off about Browser Blast. We're using it completely in our agency right now. We use that every single day for Browser Blast. It's broken. Am I seeing drops? Let me see. Yeah, there has been a lot of drops because of the Google update. But in terms of Browser Blast, yeah, it's still working as of right now. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode and have a great rest of your day.